Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That motion is carried. Next, we have public comment on an agenda item. I do have Tony Barnes on an agenda item.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Thank you for having me today. I'm speaking on agenda item number 9B, where it is referring to
Can I have you
the
set the timer, please?
senior resource money. I don't know where this idea came from to reimburse the townships based on population. Not that I don't support our seniors, but I clearly voted for this millage. None of us have the manpower to put into place to come up with these more robust programs at each of the township levels. I don't know if it was short-sighted how this got on the agenda. I don't know. None of us even had a conversation with any of our commissioners to discuss with us at the township levels what our opinion was with respect to this. So I would respect that you table this so that we have a whole lot more discussion instead of leaving us out of the conversation before you put an agenda and try to give us money from the senior resource money, which clearly should be handled at the county level, not a township level. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barnes. Next, I have on the agenda Heidi Tice.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I would also like to speak on the same topic with the senior millage. I really think that not enough time has gone by to give up kind of on senior resources. They are doing their job, and this list that we have used to be 1 page. It's now 2 pages as to what things are out there. I really would like to see this tabled for a while as well, but what commissioners could do to help with this instead of, putting back towards the municipalities, you could go out, find out what's the need in your area and put them in hand with senior resources. I think better education on this matter would be better than trying to divert funds that they will then not be able to utilize if they need that in the future. And I get that there's like a 1.7 million fund balance, and everyone's very concerned about that. But you also have to see that the bulk of what they've been doing has taken some time. And this past year, they've really beefed it up, and there's a lot of resources out there for people. But I think that they're not getting them, and they're not being educated as to where they can get them. And I think that would be the better use of this commission, is to try to find out what the needs are, go and find service groups and possibly champion them in order to get your needs met and to get the senior millage in the hands of where it really needs to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Tice. Next, we have Supervisor Marszewski.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm also speaking on 9B. The Human Services Committee recommendation HS 1911-30 to approve allocating 25% of the annual senior millage funds to the local municipalities to coordinate and provide services, programs, and/or activities for seniors in our jurisdiction. Fruitland Township only has 2 full-time employees. We don't have any extra buildings to hold any type of recreational activities for seniors. Although I think it's a great idea, I would ask that you table or deny the recommendation for today. And when I added everything up, it comes to a total funding of $536,786. If all the municipalities were to get this money, maybe it's time to look at reducing the amount of the millage. If there's not enough activities to provide to our residents, let's save them some money. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that'd like to speak on an agenda item?
Hello, Tammy Barnhart, Muskegon County resident. Also on that same item, I would hope that you would table that. Additionally, it looks like on the agenda you're going to discuss or possibly approve the Living Word Church for $80,000 for both snow removal and lawn care services, which I think is great. But I would like to find out some more information about that, please. Do you know how many people are being serviced for that? And particularly, is it one community more than another? I just like to know how many are doing winter services from that, how many are doing summer, and are there 5 people or are there 500 people being serviced for that? I'm hoping that you could discuss that and let us know, please. Also, Mr. Graham, I see you're going to approve something for that. I must have missed something. I don't know what that is for. So if you could please tell us about that. Also, the resolution for I must be just lost in the sauce here, because this resolution that talks about uh, the trial court funding for the commission interim report. I'm totally lost. I tried reading up on that, and I really don't understand that. I tried reading up on where it refers to the people versus Cunningham, and I am still lost. Could you get the opportunity to explain to me or to us what all that means? Because I really don't know. And that would be it for agenda items. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Ender 11391 West Laketon Avenue. I'm referring to agenda item 11, pages 15 and 16, and I believe this refers to the $3 to $4 million judgment against Muskegon County, and I'm not understanding how we got there. Those commissioners responsible know a contract is a legal binding agreement, and when breached can expect serious consequences, and now that's happened. Why was the contract broken in the first place? Which chairperson and commissioners agreed to it? It's easy enough to find out in the minutes, but I know 2014 Ken Mahoney was chair, and then it went to Terry Sable for 2 years, Ben Cross for 2 years, and now Susie Hughes. And why wasn't this immediately addressed by the commission's legal counsel? And what about the future commissioner or chairpersons? Was there some type of malpractice? And then I saw today, and wow, when I saw the agenda, and all this had been discussed and decided. The agreement is listed and ready to go on page 16 already. That kind of surprised me. Has Stephen Grimm been working on this already? Because if he has, when was it approved and or authorized? I didn't miss many meetings, I really didn't, but I didn't see anything in the minutes about it either. And what about Doug Hughes? Any accountability there? The public was in the dark again until the gavel dropped. My question to those of you responsible for this debacle is, what did happen and why? You owe us an explanation. Who will be held accountable? It should not be the taxpayers. And I'd like to know how I get the answers to my questions, because you can't answer them here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we will move on. We do need to approve the closed session minutes from 10/22/19. You received a copy of those.
So move. Support.
We have a motion and support. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, all those, do I need a roll call for that matter? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same. That motion is carried.
I abstain. I wasn't there.
Okay. Now we will move on to communications. These are different, and I will attempt to answer one of the questions from one of our constituents. The opposition to trial court funding, that was a resolution that another county adopted, and they just out of courtesy sent us a copy of that. That's all that was. So those will be placed on file and become part of our permanent record. Next, we have committee and board reports. Courts and Public Safety Committee. We will have Commissioner.
Excuse me.
Yes. Commissioner?
Did we vote to do something with communication?
No, we don't usually vote to do that. We just place them on file.
Is there an opportunity to oppose A?
We, if you would like
No?
to, we've already moved on from that, but do you want to make a motion? I suppose we could do that.
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we oppose A. I think it's a lot of misinformation in there, and I don't want to appear that I don't want to
We are
appear.
not, we're not accepting it. We're just placing it on file.
I
So
suppose. Okay.
if you want to make a motion to oppose it, we could.
We would need
Except-
more
But
information.
yeah, we
too.
would need more information to file, I don't know what we would do with your opposition, actually. Except
Is
just
there
note
anybody
it.
else that has similar feelings? No. I'll drop it.
All right. Well, okay. Okay.
If we could, I would like to see if we can contact Mac and get more detailed information on all these different motions that are in here,
Okay.
because I'm concerned about a few of them.
All right.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilkins,
With courts and public policy.
Courts and Public.
Thank you, Madam
You're
Chair. The Courts and Public Policy Committee met November 5th, 2019. It was recommended, and I move CPS 1911-53 through CPS 1911-55.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any comments, questions, or concerns on the Public Safety Committee report? Seeing
I have
none.
a question on
yes.
54. This is for the body cameras, correct? Yes.
Yes.
And cruiser cameras. Yes.
Oh, not pertaining to this, but are we live streaming this video as IT?
Yes, we
they
are.
are.
Thank you.
Yes, we are. Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes, on all three.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick, Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
8 yes.
And that motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Wilkins. Next, we will move on to the Human Services Committee. And that is
Charles.
Commissioner Nash.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Human Services Committee met on November the 5th. It was recommended, and I move HS 1911-30, 31, 32, 33, and 34.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any comments, questions, or concerns? Go ahead, Commissioner Mahoney.
I think in light of the comments from the supervisors, I would like to at least postpone a vote on number 30.
Support?
We have a motion and support to postpone number 30. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Laring.
So the townships already have the opportunity to opt out of it. They don't have to receive the money if they don't want it.
True.
So I don't know. Some of the townships want it, some of them don't, and that's perfectly acceptable under the program. So if they don't want to accept it, they don't have to.
Thank you, Commissioner Laring. Commissioner Nash.
Well, I agree somewhat with Commissioner Laring, and I also agree with the supervisors. If they would like for us to postpone it for those particular areas, we could do that separately. Otherwise, just so you all understand that, I believe that this is a great way. We're not trying to put you all to work, but it's a great way to partner with your own community and with your own constituents within your area. And the reason why we were trying to get that to those particular areas, because we know that you understand your people better than we do. But we just wanted to make sure that everybody got a piece of the pie, so that it was not just being given to certain areas or certain people notified and all those different things. And you had enough for your constituents, and then you can partner with whoever would like to do that service for you. And it could be senior services or someone else, depending on who you choose. But we wanted to give you the freedom to be able to do that and make sure you take care of your citizens, and all the senior citizens were taken care of.
Mr. Skolnick.
Well, I basically, Charles just said what I was going to say, but I mean, I think getting the money down to the level closest to the people that are going to use the money or have the ability to participate in this funding is probably the best idea of all. And there is a base funding of $3,500, which is designed to help the municipalities come up with a plan for the money. They can hire a consultant with that if they needed. But one other thing I just wanted to say, we had a pretty extensive discussion of this, but I don't think it never occurred to me that the municipalities had been told about it.
Thank you.
I just assumed it's kind of a big deal. I thought they would be.
I also have a comment on this. I was contacted by my supervisor, and she feels the same way that the supervisors in the audience do. And one of her concerns was that they don't obviously have the people to, step up and do that. But she was also concerned that if they were left out of this decision, that it would look like to their constituents that they didn't want their people to have these services. And that's not true. It's just that they don't have the ability to do it, and they feel like seeing that our millage should be taking care of that, not the municipalities. And they were very adamant that it would be detrimental to them. They would prefer to see it handled through the millage. Marcia.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think it'd be useful to hear from the supervisors and the concerns, and maybe I think the initial response of everybody was, hey, this is a great idea, and would get the money out to where the people know what their needs are. But if it's creating a problem, I think we need to know about it and kind of slow it down a bit. And I'm still probably in favor of going forward, but to hear your concerns and to address
I think that
those.
would be a good idea.
Madam
And that
Chair?
is our motion, correct?
My
Yes.
motion was to postpone it
Postpone it.
until we have an opportunity to explain to the townships and give them a clearer picture what the intent was. We didn't intend to overburden the townships with additional paperwork and such. One of the things that happens if you go through the process as it exists now, they have to come up with the grants. They got to write grants. They got to come up.
Right.
This way, it's quick
2
and
pages. Yeah.
easy, and they're done. But
Yeah.
if there's some concerns, and there obviously is, I think we need to address those through the Senior Resources Committee with those township supervisors to assure them that we're not just dumping it on them, that our committee and the Senior Resources folks will be there to help them out through the process.
Thank you.
Madam
Commissioner
Chair.
Foster.
This motion is a win-win for everybody. These townships can opt in or opt out at their leisure in 6 months from now, 3 months from now, or totally not at all. Why would we delay this now and stop the ones that want it? It makes no sense.
Commissioner Laring.
So I did invite my township supervisors. They did attend the meeting, the work session on this. It was, we had an agenda. It was on the county website if they wanted to attend the work session. We've already had over an hour work session on this. A couple of my townships want it, a couple of them don't. I see that we've already done the work session on it. Now we're going to have another work session on something that we've already done and repeat the same information again.
I can't answer that, but I do think they were talking about meeting with the townships and not leaving them out of the loop.
But my townships were at the work session.
That's great. Marcia.
Yeah, I think Commissioner Mahoney said that they would meet with the Senior Activities Committee, so it would not come back to here. It would go to the committee that, to the Senior Activities Committee where, we're dealing with all the nuts and bolts of it. But
Commissioner Nash.
I just have to say I actually agree with Commissioner Laring that they have the opportunity to opt out, and I think Commissioner Foster said the same thing. So it's not a mandate that they take this money, and I still don't see why we would hold up other municipalities that do desire to have this funding. So they could opt in or opt out. It's not a mandate, but I think we did a good job trying to make sure that we got this out. And that was one of our major concerns with this millage, is to make sure that it got out to the communities, to those areas that, big and small, and make sure that this wasn't just some, click or pocket thing that happened with this millage. And I thought this was a great idea, and it wasn't something we came up with. That came through the health department and through a lot of advisory discussion. And I think it was a good decision.
Right.
Just one more comment, and that is, I'm not opposed to doing this. I just think the townships need a little bit more clarity as to what impact it has on them and what exactly they can use the money for.
Okay.
Madam Chair, last one, if I may. The townships can still opt in at a later time. We're not stopping them from this. If we pass this today, it gives them the option in or out. They could come in 6 months from now if they want. It's not a hindrance on them.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none,
So the
Wait,
motion before us is
It's to
made by
postpone.
Commissioner Mahoney to postpone HS 19-11-30.
yes.
And who seconded that motion? And
Commissioner.
seconded by Commissioner.
Harvey Wright.
Be right.
So do we need a third for that one?
No, it wasn't.
That was a amendment to the motion.
All right, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
And this is on all of them, 30 through.
No, this is
the
just
table.
on the motion to,
Or just 30.
motion to,
Okay.
yes.
So Commissioner Laring,
No.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
No.
Commissioner Skolnick,
No.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
No.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
So there are
Four.
3 yeses.
Are you going to let me
All right,
vote?
go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I put you at the end as required.
No.
Great ties. There's no tie. And Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
So there's is a tie. There's 4 no and 4 yes.
Motion fails.
So it passes?
No.
Motion fails.
Back to the original motion.
We tried.
All right, now we have a motion before us to approve the Human Resources Committee, item 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No on 32, yes on the rest.
and Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
So there are 8 yes on 31, 33, and 34, and 7 yes and 1 no on 32.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That will conclude my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Next, we have the Ways and Means Committee, Ms. Commissioner Skolnick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Ways and Means Committee met on November 7th, 2019. It was recommended, and I move WM 19/11-136, 137, 138, 139, 140, and 141.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
No on 136, yes on the rest.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Laring,
No on 136, yes on the rest.
and Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
That completes my report, Madam Chair.
So the results on the roll call vote are 8 yes on 37, 38, 39, 140, and 141, and 6 yes and 2 no on 136.
And the motion carries.
That still completes my report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Skolnick. Next, we will move on to the Chairman's report. A ceremony was held at the Veterans Memorial Park in honor of Veterans Day, as well as a Veterans Salute at the Muskegon Community College yesterday. Very well attended. Tomorrow, Wednesday, November 13th, from 5:30 to 7:30, everyone is welcome to visit the Muskegon Heights Library as the Lakeshore Museum Center presents a free event called Hats of History. I'd also like to let you know that November 5th through December 12th at 7 p.m., feel free to stop in and watch The Mystery of the Christmas Star, a 30-minute show at the Planetarium at Muskegon Community College in room 1072. And the Muskegon Museum of Art's 15th Annual Festival of Trees runs from November 20th through December 1st. And I'd also like to say today will be our first full board meeting that we are recording. And we're going to see how this goes, but I think it may be a benefit to the people that are viewing that we state the motions. We don't have to state the summary of the request, but that we state each motion so that it's easily understood by the people in the audience and on TV. So we might want to start doing that. And please refrain if we do start that, please refrain from interrupting with a so moved and wait until the entire motion has been read, and then we will make the motion to second that. I believe that's all I have at the moment.
Thank you.
Administrator.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have 4 items for consideration. The first one is to approve the contingent fee agreement with Steve Grimm and the authorize the board chair to sign.
So moved.
Second.
And we have a motion and support. Is there any comments, questions, or concerns?
Have
Roll call.
one question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Have we made a decision as to what his scope will be?
Yes, we have, and Steve's also here in the audience if you'd like for him to step forward and
Please,
explain
Steve,
that
would you
to
please do that?
legally.
We've had some questions on that from the audience and the commissioners.
Yes, Stephen Grimm. I'm the subject of this contingent agreement. Your question was? Oh, the scope is going to be initially to investigate the extent to which there was malpractice committed by Mr. Hughes, Mr. Carafa, and anybody else in the firm, Williams Hughes. And I will keep you advised as to the progress of that analysis. But it's, I think I know how it's going to come out. The effort is going to be made to settle it if we can. There are limited, apparently there are limited amounts of liability insurance available. But I think given what I know so far, and I'm still looking into it, I haven't even started yet because I don't even have the contract, but I am starting an analysis that I have not really done any work on it. But from what I have seen in following the complaints and the litigation pleadings, it looks like there is significant amounts potentially of legal malpractice that was committed that could significantly defray any potential judgment the county would have to be responsible for.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. Are there any questions for Mr. Grimm?
I guess, does his malpractice insurance adequately cover the county's obligation in this case?
Not completely, probably.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Grimm. Madam, yes, could I have a roll call on this, please?
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Layering.
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes,
8 yes.
and that motion carries.
The second item is to move the adoption of the revised 2019 enforcement report as prepared and submitted by the Muskegon County Equalization Department.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Are there any questions?
May I just speak a moment? They have until, the fire department has until tomorrow, the 6 days, in order to file with the county clerk whether or not they're going to ask for a recount. So if they have a recount tomorrow, that would come to you as an amended if it passes or something. The other possibility is if they choose not to go the recount route and they choose to put it on the March or May ballot and it changes and it passes, you'll get another amendment because that's why this is all changing.
I see.
Because of the election results.
Okay, thank you very much. That's important information to know. Any other questions, comments? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Laring.
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
8 yes.
And that motion carries.
My third item is to move to approve the increase to the sheriff's purchase order with WellPath to cover the financial invoice for 2019.
Question?
Yes. We have a motion.
She
and-
moved.
Support.
I'll support.
And we have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes, and this is the organization, WellPath, or the company that was covering the jail when the prisoner passed away. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes.
And when is that contract done?
Ask the sheriff to step forward and address the board.
Hi, Michael Pullen, County Sheriff. The contract itself expires in 2022. That was approved back in February for an extension of 19.
Any other questions for the sheriff?
And
Commissioner
the-
Laring? Oh, go ahead,
And
Marcia.
the increase is for what reason?
Just medical coverage, prescription drugs, anything relating to any healthcare needs for any of the inmates that are in there. It is important that I think we all understand that this past October there were 2 bills that were presented that will cover these medical expenses for pretrial inmates, and hopefully if those get passed, because more than 50% of our population that's in the facility are pretrial inmates. It won't take care of everything, but it'll sure help out a lot if that passes.
Any other questions?
When do we expect to get a report on that incident?
Our reports are
WellPath and
completed,
their-
but
Excuse me?
well, our reports are completed that we've done.
Okay.
We submitted this to the prosecutor's office, which went to the attorney general's office to cover anything for any criminal charges from there. But we haven't heard anything from anybody at this point.
So the state's holding it up, basically, or they're
Well,
waiting to act.
there's nothing being held up really, and nobody's acted on anything. If that's what you're
Thank you.
asking.
Commissioner Laring.
So the increase, this is just a non-budgeted issue, but
No, it's a budgeted issue, but we keep getting increases. I mean, the population that we're dealing with here have their healthcare needs that are not covered by their own insurance, or they don't have insurance. This is from the 19 budget, this increase here. I think you're aware the jail operations budget came in about 90,000 under budget. So we're still within the budget for the year.
Commissioner Nash.
I was just wondering if you can get us some information on the bills that you just spoke about so that we could see what we can do to help in those situations.
Yeah, Sheriff, if I understand this right, if you're incarcerated, if you have insurance, it doesn't cover you
Right.
if you're in jail.
Correct.
So if you're on Medicare, that doesn't cover you either?
That's correct.
Commissioner Nash.
That's a good question. Is that the same for the pretrial though?
Well, right now it's the same for everybody. The individuals that we have in our facility that are DOC inmates, the Department of Corrections will pay for those individuals. But the individuals that are just ours, the 2 bills that were passed for protecting healthcare benefits for pretrial individuals only is what those were set up for.
Oh, that's what the bills were.
Yes. And they're just in October.
Currently, they're taking that away?
No.
That's what you're saying? No, I mean, at this time, before the bill, they lose that if they go
to jail.
Yeah.
Yes. They're Medicaid and Medicare, yes.
Wow. Well, I'm glad the bill's out there.
I just wanted to point out that we're still under budget in terms of the jail.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call?
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Laring.
yes.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
8 yes.
And that motion carries.
My final motion the very last page, it has the addendum to June 2004, 2013 maintenance agreement. So the separate document that you have along with that just explains the actual motion itself. So I'll go ahead and read the motion to approve the addendum to June 24, 2003 maintenance agreement between the County of Muskegon, the City of Muskegon, and the City of North Muskegon, contingent on the approval of the same, and authorize the administrator to sign the addendum.
Support. Or so move, I'm sorry.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
I do, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So who actually is going to be responsible for checking and the lake level of this 581? Who's gonna, and determining the 4 weeks that it's in excess, who has to go out there and actually, is this gonna be a county employee, a city, or North Muskegon?
Is Mr. Fink still in the audience? There he is. He knows the answer.
He's hiding.
Steve Fink, Public Works. Traditionally, the city of Muskegon has arranged for all the maintenance activities. They've ran the pump in the past. I wouldn't see any change in that approach with this project.
Who pays the electric bill on this pump?
Right now, the three communities share in the cost of running the electric. There previously was a pump out there that actually was used during the initial stages of the construction process, and that pump quit working. It's 1970s vintage. So this would be us participating in a cost of a new pump, and the three communities have always shared the O&M expenses.
Okay. One more question.
Yes.
So will it be written in the contract or in this agreement that the city of Muskegon is going to have their employees out there actually monitoring this and keeping track of the lake level? Or
I think a modification could be made to indicate that. They traditionally have always done that. If you...
They have an annual meeting discussed through those processes. This one here, I'm not sure if that's the document we want to put it in. This one here is the one with NOAA saying that we're to keep it at that level.
Right.
There might be a separate agreement with the other two municipalities.
I guess my concern is that I don't want to have it become the county's responsibility to go out there and check it and be responsible for the lake level, and then, it went down in 3.5 weeks, so we don't turn it on, then it comes back to the county. So I would like to see this as a city continue their same agreement, and also the maintenance of the lake level. So
Yeah, I think we'd have to look at what the language of the 2003 original agreement has. This is something that NOAA requested to make sure that the three communities had a role. They're willing to spend a lot to put a water control structure back in there.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted the three governmental entities to have some skin in the game.
Right, and that's financial responsibility. I just don't want to have to hire an employee just to monitor the lake level out there.
Yeah, understood.
Okay.
Can I Steve, that that pump only run, so there'll be a control structure there. So when that water is pumped down, the pump shuts off. It doesn't run continuously.
Correct. It would be a float level based system.
Okay.
But somebody still has to monitor for this 4-week period. So that I'm sure the pump's not, it may have a float on it, but it's not going to have a 4-week timer on it. So every time the lake level gets up to this 581, somebody's going to have to maintain that schedule and keep track of it. And that's my concern, is it wouldn't be a county employee having to track all that. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes,
8 yes.
and that motion carries.
Madam Chair, that ends my report.
Thank you, Administrator. Under old business, do we have any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'd just like to add that the Sheriff's Office is under some huge budget constraints should they lose the $400,000 that they expect to get for jail reimbursements this year, and $134,000 will cut our road patrols. I just encourage you, if you have an opportunity to speak with any of your legislators, that you offer your support for them maintaining the level of support from the state that we like to maintain with our sheriff's department. And they also have some concerns that this could affect their training grants. So we do want to keep our officers in good shape. So please, if you have the opportunity, any of you, to please let your legislators know that we would really appreciate their help stepping back up to the plate for our sheriff's department. I'd also like to mention some old business that happened at the last meeting, and there were some people in the audience that were not very friendly to some of our residents. They made remarks behind their back. They kicked their chairs. They blew in their hair. They made some poor judgments on our residents, and that's not going to be tolerated. And I encourage any of you who become victim to something like that to immediately let this board know, and that will not happen again. It will not happen in this boardroom. So please be aware that that's not going to happen again. That's all I have under old business. Any new business by the board? We now have time set aside for public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak on public comment? Supervisor Barnes, just one moment, please.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for giving us money. It makes total sense to give it to the supervisors. And if you're looking for somebody to go watch a lake level, please give that to the supervisors too. We will supervise that. I want a golf cart and some lotion. I'll go take care of that all day for you, all right? Look, I agree. I appreciate the work that these commissioners did in committee talking about the senior resource money. You failed miserably by not talking to any of the supervisors out here and giving us any direction of which way this is going to go. You've now put us in a situation where we either opt in or opt out. We don't have to take the money. I get all that. You didn't give us the opportunity to talk with anyone at Senior Resources or any of our constituents. I have a board meeting tonight. I could bring that up at our Dalton Township board meeting, but I think that was short-sighted to send us this money that we have no idea what we're going to do with it just yet. It doesn't make sense to me that Cedar Creek's going to get $3,500 for administration fees, and they have 1,800 residents or 2,500, and you got Muskegon Township with 30,000 residents. They're going to get the same 3,500. Short-sighted, and it didn't make any sense to us. I don't know how you're going to be able to fund these programs fairly with $3,500 per resident per township. Makes no sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
There was over here.
Oh, yes, sir. Come ahead.
Hello. My name is Dale Freeman. I'm the chair of Michigan's Interagency Migrant Services Committee and a member of its Policy and Advocacy Civil Rights Committee. I have been asked by the subcommittee to express its opposition to the proposed resolution resolving that Muskegon County not become a sanctuary county. The IMSC, formed in 1972, is the longest-running interagency group for coordination of services to migrant, immigrant, and seasonal farm workers in the nation. It is a forum for statewide coordination of service delivery to farm workers, encompassing employment, education, healthcare, public benefits, legal services, and other assistance. It is comprised of state and federal agencies that provide direct or indirect services to this population, nonprofits, and educational institutions. As a committee representing Michigan's farm workers and their family members, it is important for us to uplift the contributions of migrant, immigrant, and seasonal farm workers and their family members who reside in Muskegon County. A significant number of these agricultural workers live in Muskegon County year-round. Workers travel from other areas, also supplement the local workforce, allowing local workers the opportunity for full-time employment. We ask the Muskegon County to recognize the impact of the immigrant population, which has been beneficial not only to the United States, but specifically to Michigan and specifically to Muskegon County. For example, the Muskegon County has 2,700 migrant, immigrant, and seasonal farm workers who contribute to the $75 million agricultural value of Muskegon County. In addition, Muskegon County has $68 million total farm expenses. Much of this goes to local businesses within the county. We ask the Commission to support this economic benefit to the county. We seek to improve relationships between all members of our local communities, and we fear that the proposed resolution will increase fear, and targeting of people of color or those who speak another language and
Thank you,
could
Mr. Freeman.
deter agricultural workers. Thank you.
Anna Olson, Muskegon County resident. In our last commission meeting, I stood in front of you and talked. I was really overwhelmed by the experience that I had inside and outside this room. I want to tell you today that both times that I came here, I was afraid to leave this courthouse. And that carries throughout, and I want to explain you why. In the last commission meeting, I said that my skin defines who I am, and I want to say that that's not true. The color of my skin says part of my story. I am a Latino descendant, yes I am, but I am also a Muskegon County resident that works over 40 hours a week, pay taxes, own a home, and I volunteer my time to many nonprofit organizations that help better our community for the best of all. This doesn't sound too different on paper from a lot of people that sit in this courtroom, but yet somehow, because of the color of my skin, I get discriminated, even in my own local grocery store. I've been here for many years and that had never ever happened to me before. You will say and stand over here, why would I feel afraid? I feel afraid because bringing this kind of resolution to this committee, it allows some people that they feel certain way of immigrants because of the rhetoric that is been going around the country. It allows them somehow to say that that's okay to be rude at me just because of the color of my skin. And it happened to me, and it's happening to 10 of your Muskegon County residents. You cannot just go around pretending that this is not happening. You need to understand that you affect people's lives, that how we live every day. I'm a person that I don't easily get afraid, and this is scary even for some people out there that don't have the guts to come in front of you.
Thank you, Anna. Anyone else?
Yes, hello, Tammy Barnhart again, Muskegon County resident. Again, I would ask you, you just approved that resolution for the $80,000 for the church, and there was absolutely no discussion on that. on that. Could you please tell us, before you end today, somebody could tell us what that money is really being used for? How many people is it helping? If you don't know, then I don't know how you could have approved it. Somebody must know how many people that is helping. You've got to know, is it helping people in the wintertime? Is it helping people in the summertime? All of you voted for it. So please, one of you, tell us something. Give us some information. Show us some transparency on that, please. Also, I'd like to ask for some more transparency. You have another closed session today, and I see that you've indicated some blase rule, but you still haven't told us what it's about. Could you at least give us a blip of what it's about so we know? It's about a contract here. It's about a legal fight about this. It's about wages. It's about whatever. I mean, we have a right to know what this is about. No, you don't want to disclose certain legal information, but you can't take this whole big scope of an item and stuff it all under one little thing saying it's illegal when one portion of it might be safeguarded, I guess, not illegal, but safeguarded. That's what seems to be happening. You're rolling this whole big issue under the safeguard issue when it doesn't need to be. We're entitled to know what's going on up here in the county. So please let us know. Also, sanctuary counties, the last thing that was written, presented by the committee, I think it was Commissioner Foster, and then it was seconded, but it never went any further. I hope you all had the opportunity to read that. I think it was written really well about the sanctuary cities, and I think it covered everything for anybody. I don't know how anybody could be opposed for it. So I hope that that comes back to the agenda and you all vote and approve for that. That would be a wonderful thing. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we will move on. Before we move on to our closed session, I'd like to give the county commissioners a chance to any final comments. Marcia?
Yes, this is for Tammy Barnhart. To answer your question about the the money, the $80,000 to the church. That is for snow removal, and then in the summer for lawn maintenance. People have to apply. The money doesn't go to the church until it's used, until it's spent. And that's the way all the projects are within the senior millage. So, obviously this is a new program. We're learning as we go. We'll have to watch that money very carefully and how it's spent, and that it's justifiable. But I just wanted to answer that question so that you weren't left in the lurch about that. Thank you.
And I'd like to follow up on that too. We appreciate them helping us. That's been a real need in our community, and it's been underserved. We haven't been able to get anybody to coordinate that throughout the county, and we really appreciate the church stepping up and taking on that responsibility for us. And it's not that the church is getting paid for it; they're coordinating that, and so we really appreciate it. So, Commissioner Nash.
Well, I just wanted to clear up any misconceptions that the public may have regarding our decision-making process, because along with that item and many other items, they come through committee first, and we usually have full, lengthy discussions on great details in each one of those different items. So it's not that we come to full boards and we just haphazardly vote things through. We've already discussed them and we've already decided. So it's easier for us to come to full board and just make our votes and move on. So if you really want to know and understand what's really going on with those individual items, sometimes you need to follow through with the committees first. And if you can make those meetings, that'd be great.
Madam Chair,
Thank
I
you.
have one more comment.
Yes,
And
Commissioner
Tammy,
Miller.
also, how many it was going to serve, we don't know. We're actually going to limit the number of participants because it's not enough money. So we're going to age and income qualify them, but it is a county-wide program. So residents from the entire county can apply to have, for seniors that are income-based, can apply to get their driveways or sidewalks shoveled. And then I don't know what the cutoff, we haven't decided that yet, but so we don't have that number, but so it's a county-wide program, and all of the Muskegon County senior residents can apply for that service. And I'd second what Charles Nash says. We did discuss this it was not a rash decision. We did discuss it at length in committee.
Mr. Wilkins?
Yes, Madam Chair. I just want to thank Mrs. Moore and her staff and all of the people who've been working on this program, because for years I have been upset because it was not addressed like I thought it should be. But I want to thank them and get this program started, because there are a lot of seniors out there that are unable to shovel the snow, and it can't get anybody to shovel it for them because their money is limited. So again, I want to thank you, the millage group, and Mrs. Moore.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
thank you. Tammy Barnhart, the gentleman standing right next to you is the administrator of the snow plowing yard work. So if you wanted to ask. And I would have a question for the chair. We postponed a very needed resolution tonight for the money. When will we see that again? When we delayed the vote on the township money of $3,500 starting, it will not come back.
It did not. It did not pass.
It didn't. No. I thought the motion was to postpone it, not.
It was, but that motion
Yes.
was defeated.
Okay.
It was defeated. It was a tie and then a tie.
So it got defeated.
Yes.
Okay.
The motion did not get defeated though, and that went through.
So we did give the townships the money they needed for
Correct.
snow plowing, snow shoveling, etc. Thank you. My bad for misunderstanding.
Okay.
Just to add a piece of information to that, so the townships and the seasoned townships would get the $3,500 as a base, plus the percentage of the funds based on the number of seniors in that township or city. So it's two pieces or two chunks of money: the $3,500 plus the number, an X amount for each senior over 60.
Okay, thank you. Ken?
In addition to that, we will, I'm sure, at the Senior Activities Committee, make sure that we reach out to the townships and
Right.
explain to them exactly what it is and how they can move forward. It's probably, it's our mistake for not doing that in the first place, because it is a program, especially for townships that have maybe no staff. They're open one day a week. We did not intend to create an additional burden on the townships just to make it easier for them to grab money, or not grab money, but
We know what you
to get some money without having to go through a whole lot of process.
I know I've overdone my questions, but this is a piece of information. There are people in the audience from Senior Resources that can help the townships with the grant process. So if you could raise your hands from Senior Resources.
They're not going to do it. That's very low.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much. And now I will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to ML 15-.268 to discuss a written confidential legal opinion.
Support. And I will support that.
And we have a motion and support. Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Laring.
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
8 yes.
Much.
Anybody ever said no on that one?
Show her at the door.
Said, did